Please work now. It looks like it's working. Alright. It should be working now, hopefully. I do apologize for this, last episode just run off abruptly there. It's always super annoying that, I tell you. Always super annoying that. We're just in the middle of doing the armor and then it just cuts out on me. So we're making Knight armor for Oaki Human. And it's not looking too bad so far. Not looking too bad so far. There we go. Alright, sorry about that, I just need to check something there. Okay, so it's not looking too bad so far. It's actually looking, pretty good so far. What we are creating now is the armor, and then we'll create the hair that we need to create. Normally there was, kinda like that there. And then there was an elbow plate. I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible, I tell you. Realistic as possible. There we go. And there would be something like that there. This would be all chain mailed up, so it would not be exposed. And then this would all be a gauntlet, apart from that bit there being a little bit exposed. I don't know why I'm creating this so realistic. It does not need to be, that realistically. There we go. And a little bit of that exposed. I can actually do more over this side being exposed. And then that coming down that way. Actually, it doesn't fully connect, I forgot about that. There we go. So that's not looking too bad so far. Oh, hello there, Pi. How's it going? How's it going? It's been a little while since I last seen you. You doing alright? We're currently doing some Knight armor over here for my VTuber model. For when we play through Dark Souls 1. Very soon, hopefully. Very soon. I actually have high hopes for when I play through, Dark Souls 1. I know I should not, but, Oh, now the nerves are coming on. I know I should not have high, hopes. But you know what, I have high hopes. I think it's gonna go quite well. How am I doing? I am doing alright so far. We are currently working on our Knight armor and it's going alright so far. We just have to, fix up the middle section of how the middle section's gonna go. It's gonna be very difficult. I'm doing good. Sorry I missed streams. I have a new job and it's made me tired. Oh, you know what? You're doing a new job, it's kinda understandable, I tell you. It's kinda understandable. Hopefully you, stop being less tired at it. You have to drink more water as well. To help keep your energy. Do not drink caffeine because that thing just, caffeine does not really give you much benefits. It really just takes away more. Like I know people that would just drink constant caffeine and bam, you know, they would come back and they'd instantly just sleep, and then wake up and back to work again. Oops. I drink so much caffeine. Well, no wonder you gotta have problems, I tell you. With tiredness. If you cut down on your caffeine, I tell you, the caffeine always has a higher, you know, kickback than, you know, not having caffeine. So if you can substitute it, then you'll be much more better in the energy department. There we go. Dark Souls will go well. Thank you, thank you. I do hope that it does go well, because I've been planning it for ages, and you know, I'm deciding, do I cheese a certain boss fights or not? I've already, you know, came up with the character name. That's actually what we're creating now. This armor that we're creating now is the first piece of what we're going to be creating here today, as we're going to be creating Ruby Nightfell. So we're just gonna do like a color hair change color to red, and it'll be quite funny. There we go. Not too bad there. I played Elden Ring, and I've been playing Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is good. I don't know how far I got in Dark Souls 3. I bet the first boss, but that was with a lot of aid. I was trying to figure out, like, if there's any way to get past this boss, because that boss, you know, it's not an easy boss to get by. It's not an easy boss to get by. I guess it's really, you know, what keeps the noobs away from the pros. And that's what I'll say. Dang fan keeps blowing my hair into my face. Like, yeah, it's right behind me, but you know, can you not? I know I have long hair, but you know, you don't have to blow in my face. Actually, that is looking pretty sick, actually. That is looking pretty sick. What should I do for the internal armor? That's gotta be a hard choice. Female knights. Let's see. There's a lot of different kind of armors. You have the Joan of Arc English kind of style armor that woman had. You know, it's not really that interesting. It's actually, you know, not that very defensible. It's basically like regular armor. You know, if boot plate armor existed, it would actually be much better than regular, you know, armor. And that's so funny to me. But yeah, there's a lot of regular armor. I think we might go with something similar to this. That feels like more of a, you know. Also, we hit the telegraph around here. Telegraph sucks. Might as well take a jab at them. There we go. And there we go. We need boob armor for research. You know what we really do, you know. If I could purchase it, I would purchase it, but you know, that stuff is very, you know, expensive. Maybe one day we'll get, like, you know, a blacksmithing fan, and they'll help us in the research of it by making one. There we go. But that can only be a dream, I tell you. That can only be a dream. Wait 1 second. Alright. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. And then we'll probably do a darker colour. And also, I do apologise if the stream disconnects, I tell you, because It's been doing that, you know, for a little while now, and it's really annoying. Really annoying. Like, it doesn't do it for like ages, and then it does it. I know when it happens because secondary chat goes in, you know, thingies. So I know, like, okay, I need to click the end button to restart the stream, you know, to make sure it's working. And there's always nothing about the Wi-Fi, you know. Wi-Fi is working perfectly fine, but then it just disconnects. There we go. And I should really add, like, you know, some kind of design down here, shouldn't I? It's a hard choice, I tell you. It really is a hard choice, you know, what I'm going to be putting down here. I could do, like, you know, what we have here, normal armor. So it's normal, but that's more lower down. That's more around this bit. You kind of have, like, the skirt kind of a little bit. And then you have the chainmail legs and then the armor on the legs. If you could afford that back then, you know. You know what? Does it really need, you know, intense, you know, singy to it? Not really. Alright, and now I'll probably go darker. For this piece of the armor. But I remember someone doing like an entire video on boob armor. And it's not really that bad, boob armor. I'm going back to that, you know, just to say that. Not really that bad, boob armor. Boob armor. Cannot even speak Terry. Cannot even speak. But boob armor is, you know, it's not bad. I'd say it's actually quite good. It does have its flaws like any other armor would, you know. At least you're not wearing pufferfish, you know, armor. Yes, that is a thing. You can search it up for yourself. It was what you call traditional armor, not really meant for combat. But if it did, you know, oh, that would be painful. Not there yet. That should... I feel like it should be more up there. Yeah. I feel like that should be more up there. Alright, that'd be where we place chainmail, and chainmail is normally a little bit different coloured than the rest. So we'll probably head throughout this and do all the chainmail. There we go. And no, that just needs to be filled in. I was thinking about just, you know, putting some chainmail there, but that's not gonna make sense. Oh yeah, what could we talk about? Well, I was thinking about dedicating an entire episode to cleaning up my throne. Because my throne is very messy, I tell you. So I was thinking about doing that for fun. Would you watch that? You know, just me cleaning my throne. It could possibly be a good time, I tell you. It could possibly be a good time. There we go. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. is go and put that all the way up there. Also, there's a few games that I've been meaning to play for the last while now. For I think, yeah, we've been given keys, and you know, I've been not able to record, you know, for like 2-3 weeks at one point, and then it's really hard to get the energy to record sometimes, you know. It's like burnt out, but not burnt out. If you know how it is, you know how it is. There we go. Also, if you're still here, Pi, we have a V-Roid model coming soon. So that'll be quite fun. Sorry, I got distracted there. But we got a V-Roid model coming soon, and that'll be quite fun to, you know, play around with. I do feel like it will probably become very popular. Will it, you know, out-popular, you know, my regular one? Hopefully not. Hopefully not, I tell you. There we go. As I still will probably be using my, you know, what do you call it, PNG a lot more. But I just thought the V-Roid would be quite fun to use on stream. Yeah, I could just do a little dark bit over here. A little bit further there. And that's not looking too bad. Sorry, I was just checking the side there. Yeah, we could probably, you know, get rid of that. And then we'll go very small for this bit here. Yeah, that's actually looking pretty sick, actually. I'm very surprised on how well this looks. Very surprised. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there would be another one there. Basically just creating little rivets for everything to work. Are those actually going there, or we'll use that for this metal then? We'll just airbrush this area. Yeah, that's actually looking pretty sick, actually. We got to save that as Knight Armor. Now I can put that away and go back to this one. And now we can get to our next part for this. And that is turning the head red. Obviously I'm going in with the filling tool now to kinda, get all the bits that, I feel like would look nice with this. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. Nah. That could work. That could work. It is looking pretty weird, I tell you. It is looking pretty weird. Maybe I could combine the two. Hard choice, I tell you, hard choice. You know what, I'm gonna go back in time. We're going back in time. Back to the future, I tell you. Or back to the past. Well, yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, time to get tedious over here. That is not the right brush. Yeah, that's really not looking too bad. Might add, you know, a bit of white in there as well. Sorry if I go quiet while I'm working on this. It's just something that happens, I tell you. to fix this, you know, little lineage issue is very annoying. And what I should have, you know, just separate the little tiny bits into, you know, their own piece. It would have been so much easier just doing the filling tool. You know what, I might actually stretch over for a drink in a second. So if you hear me stretching over, it's because I'm going for a drink, and I will tell you that I'm going for a drink. We're almost done. We're almost done. We just have to deal with this pain over here. We'll just put in some fresh lines, that's what we'll do. Probably replace that to that. Plus a bottle pop there. Give me a heart attack. Not too bad. That is not too bad. You can tell how it's going to look. And do we do a ponytail for this one? You can see where it's going to go. You know what, we'll leave it about the ponytail for now, I'll tell you. Let us just go and do the faces for it. Normal face. Alright. Now I'm going to go and save this normally. And then I'll save it individually. To Knight. There we go. Yep. And now we do closed mouth with closed eyes. Closed eyes with open mouth. This is kind of just like the last little bit here. Open mouth, open eyes. Five for sad face. Sad face open. Close, open. Close, closed. Yeah, there's a close. Sorry, just checking. And the eyes for angry. That'd be 9. And angry open mouth. It looks adorable with that. Let's go piece that all together. I did save this, okay, right? We did a tube. Okay. Alright, let me load. Human, okay. And find each and individual one. So that's a basic one. Closed eyes, closed mouth. That one. And closed eye, open mouth. How does that look? Very tiny. Do apologize. Dang, why does the resolution look so bad on that? You know what, I'm gonna say it's singy. Delete that. I guess it might just be that it's the size. Yeah. Well, that's a problem. You know what? No, it's not a problem. Because all I need to do is grab all individual 10 of them each and canvas size them down. To 1000. No, 800 and 50. Yeah. Save that. Back to the canvas size actually, because I'm going to copy and paste that. Okay, this is going to take a little bit longer than I thought it would be. There. You can have a Knight Oaki Human while I work on this. Cancel. No. Let's see. 10. And save. Okay, that's fixed. Yeah, it should not take me that long to do this. You know, I was gonna move instantly over to doing some Elden Ring, but then this happens, I tell you. Annoying, I tell you. We're only on 8 now. Save. Save. What day is it today? It's the 9th or 10th, yeah. You know what, I could search up something that I need to check out. So 5 days, yeah. Sorry, I was looking up when Sing was being released there. Alright. Now to save that. That's a bit too. That's 8,500 there. Almost saved it too. By accident opened up Google there. Oh, we're already done. Well, if I knew I was already done, you know, that would have been great, you know, before. Load. Okay, Schumann's. Okay, we did a tube. Okay, dungarees. Wait, that goes back ages. That's an old one. Alright, Knight. Yep, that should be perfect now. I need to decrease the size for use. There we go. Ignore that sticker there. Alright, let's see. The second one being open mouth, closed mouth, and that. Yep, that's pretty normal. Now replace the sad okays. And now the angry ones. So I'm just deleting a bunch of them. There we go. Knight. Okay, Human. There we go. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And now I can just go like, oh, ah. I will keep the cat one because, you know, there is a redeem for that. And then there's this. Wow. Do apologize, it took me over, you know, almost an hour. So we're going to be ending off there. And we'll probably come back with some Dark Souls, hopefully soon. So, have a nice day, safe, hope so. This was just because items are very important.